The final piece arrived 7 months later, a debt collection letter addressed to Naomi for a defaulted line of credit with BrightPath Lending, $11,400, opened 16 months before. Another account I'd never seen. This time, I went to a lawyer first. Desmond Ferris listened to it all, then set down his pen. "This isn't stranger fraud," he said. "Accurate information every time, funds routed to the same institution, alerts redirected, a witnessed conversation about your lack of suspicion. Coordinated fraud against a spouse almost never happens without the other spouse's knowledge. Prepare for the obvious answer." He brought in a forensic investigator, Priya Anand, who spent 6 weeks building what I should have built years ago. The account at Heritage Trust belonged to Diane, but every fraudulent application had required a code texted to Naomi's own phone. There's no version of stranger fraud where that happens repeatedly across 4 years without her cooperation. Of the roughly $26,000 borrowed against Naomi's name, 60% went to Diane's expenses. The rest, just over $10,000, moved in small transfers into a savings account under Naomi's maiden name, opened 6 months before our wedding. "I can show you the mechanics," Priya said gently. "What I can't show you is what was in her head." I sat with that number and finally understood. This had never been Diane defrauding us while Naomi defended her out of blind loyalty. This had been the two of them, together, defrauding me, with Naomi's loyalty serving as the cover story the whole time. I didn't confront her at home. I met her at a small restaurant, slid the folder across the table, opened to the page with her maiden name on top. She looked at it a long time. When she finally spoke, the outrage was gone. "Okay," she said. "You found it. It's real. Start with how long?" "Since before we got married. My mom's always been bad with money. At some point, it just became normal. She'd ask, and your account was right there, and it didn't feel like stealing because we were going to be married anyway. You opened an account under your maiden name 6 months before our wedding. I told myself I was protecting myself, in case you ever left. By stealing from me. By taking some of what my mother was already taking," she said, defensive flaring. "She orchestrated it. I just went along, and somewhere in there started taking a little for myself, too. You let me believe I was losing my mind. I know what I did." Her voice cracked, and I couldn't tell any more, and never would again, if it was real or another register of the same act. I filed for divorce 6 weeks later. She didn't contest it, and moved into her mother's apartment, an irony I couldn't laugh at by then. I gave the documentation to the district attorney's office, expecting consequences beyond divorce. It didn't happen. The fraud was about as clean as this kind of case gets, the investigator said, but prosecuting fraud between family members carried complications. Stranger fraud didn't. Naomi's lawyer argued her access as a joint account holder existed in a legal gray area. The case was declined. I was told to pursue civil remedies instead. I eventually won a judgment for $14,000 against 2 people with an unbroken talent for never having anything left to take. As of now, I've collected 1,100 of it in sporadic garnishments, like rain in a drought. Diane was never charged. I saw her once after, by accident, at a grocery store parking lot. "I hope you found some peace," she said, like peace were a gift she was personally extending. "Naomi's doing well, if you're curious." "I'm not," I said, and meant it. "Naomi and I haven't spoken in over a year. She's doing bookkeeping again, in a different city, closer to her mother than ever. the two having weathered the one crisis that might have separated them by doubling down on the bond that caused it. I don't have a tidy ending. The marriage ended cleanly enough. But the justice I wanted, named, formal, costing them something real, never arrived, and I've made peace with the fact that it probably never will. What I have instead is smaller and stranger than justice. A drawer of documentation no one needs hidden anymore, a credit score slowly repairing itself, and this account written down not because it changes anything, but because for 4 years I lived inside a version of my life that wasn't true. Writing it down is the closest thing to justice I've been able to make for myself. I used to think love and trust were the same instrument, tuned to one note. They're not. Trust is the thing you can verify. Love is just the thing you hope is true while you wait to find out.